The void provides the container, the unraveling, the stripping down, and that pressure, while activations provide the spark. It's the bridge, the ignition, and the turning point that carries you into what's next. Welcome to Intuition Unlocked, the podcast empowering empathic women who feel misunderstood, overwhelmed, or disconnected from their intuition, begin to trust their sensitivities, find inner clarity, and show up with embodied, unstoppable confidence in their daily lives. I am your host, Olivia Ashley, an empath and intuitive, and I am so happy you're here. Hello and welcome, friend. I hope you are doing well wherever you are, and I'm so happy that you're here joining me today, because today we're going to step into a conversation about the void, that strange in-between space where life feels uncertain, undefined, or maybe even constricted. And most importantly, we're exploring how within this space, there's often an activation waiting to spark, an experience, shift, or insight that becomes the bridge into the next part of your journey. So if you've been feeling stuck, unsure of your path, like you're between worlds, and really just so over it and ready for change, but you don't quite see what's next, this episode is especially for you. You're not here by accident. Being in the void is not a detour or mistake. It's a part of your initiation, and there's an activation here waiting for you to notice it. I want to start with talking about what the void is. The void is not emptiness. I really see it as this gestational period. It's the space between an old chapter dissolving and a new one arriving. You can also think of it like the cocoon stage of the butterfly, where the caterpillar is no longer what it was, but it's not yet emerged into what it's becoming. And let's be honest and real, this space can feel frustrating, uncomfortable, scary, or even exhausting. To be honest, I am completely in the midst of a void space myself. So I know I feel a lot of the ways I'm going to describe here today, and you might too, and that's okay. So you may be feeling restless and desperate to move forward or to just get on with it already. But if you're still here, breathing, a part of this world, listening to this, it's because there is more to uncover, more to shed, and more to integrate. And that's not to say you're not doing enough or, oh gosh, there's so much more I have to do. No, it's the reality of this journey. It's the reality of this life of how do we find acceptance and presence in the moments we're at, while also knowing there's just always more, right? There's more to experience, more to breathe into, more to understand and bring life to, but that should feel exciting or full of curiosity and not something to add to our to-do list. It's this beautiful unfolding that asks for your surrendering. And I have found in my own personal journey and through witnessing it in others that the void has its own intelligence and its own timeline. It simply cannot be rushed. Even when nothing appears to be happening, you might feel frustrated and confused why that is, but there is actually a tremendous amount of unseen movement taking place beneath the surface while you're in this period. Often there's things like energetic repatterning happening, paths being woven and opened up for you, and a level of divine orchestration that's happening around you that you're not aware of, nor do you need to be aware of it, but you need to trust that that's happening. So it's important to remember that the unseen realms are co-creating and collaborating with you here. It's also important to know that being in the void does not mean you're lost or off track. It might feel that way sometimes, but in fact, you can very much be aligned with your soul's path and still find yourself here in this space. The void is part of the path. It's where deep clearing, realignment, and preparation happen for you. And there's no punishment to it. The role of it is actually very powerful. It's a container of pressure. It holds a lot of tension, like a bowstring pulled back, creating pressure that will eventually propel you forward. Without this container, there's no momentum. There's no catalyst to get you into the next space. It's a container that offers a space, an invitation for alchemy, as it illuminates what wants to be healed, what's no longer working, what needs to shift in order for you to step into the next version of yourself. It's not here to hold you back. It's actually here to propel you forward, to help you break down what's old so that what wants to come forward, what your soul is yearning for, what you are yearning for, can take root and take form. And when you're in the void, it's really going to help if you can surrender, if you can loosen your grip on control or certainty, and to soften your need for any immediate clarity. It's about trusting in the unseen process of becoming. And that's where surrender and trust and a connection to something higher can really support you, because it will help anchor you into the present moment and remembering, wow, you are so supported. There's so much that is happening in service of you. Hang tight and be here and do your best to navigate it. So again, while it might feel like nothing's happening, the void is so alive with potential. It's actually where I see the deepest unravelings within ourselves, or our energy, our emotions, whatever we need to unravel takes place. And where illusions or limiting self-beliefs or blocks that are holding us back get the opportunity to come up, to be seen, and to be left behind. And that's where the raw truth of who you are is revealed. The void I see can be linked to the shadow self, the subconscious, the darker aspects, which are not bad by any means, but are things that we don't always tend to, or we make sure they're safely tucked in a box away while we go about our life. But ultimately, they must be tended to if you want to have progression and to move forward and have fulfillment, contentment in your life. These void spaces are actually very beautiful, very sacred when you start to think about the opportunity it provides to you to step into and feel into and be held in this kind of miraculous space. I see the black hole or the center of a spiral where things slow, and yet there's so much happening that is really important and powerful. And what is often woven into the period of the void, sometimes it happens to get you into the void, sometimes it happens during it and to get you out of the void, is what I call an activation. And an activation is a spark. It's something that catalyzes you into a new state of being. It can be an experience, a moment, or a series of moments that shift your energy, perception, and trajectory of your life. It often wakes something up inside of you, and it can rearrange what you know about yourself, about this life and this world and your reality very quickly. It can also open up energy, a new channel within yourself, a new path in your life, or just bring clarity to you that shifts your trajectory and your understanding of where you're going to go. So you can think of activations as your soul and the divine tapping you on the shoulder and saying, it's time. It's time. And only you will know what that refers to as you're moving through it. And from my own experience, truly, there's usually no turning back from this point. A stake has been set in the ground, a choice has been made, and you really can't go back to how your reality was before this moment. And to help ground this in even more, I see that activations often appear through one of the following ways. It can be energetic, emotional, physical, or spiritual. And oftentimes an activation will take one form, but it will also affect you on all of the other levels or pair with one or the other to really anchor it in. I see that they often work together in harmony to support you. It's like there's one mode they're going to take, and then it kind of unravels the others and welcomes the change and the transformation into those spaces. And here's a little bit about each of these types. Starting with energetic activations. These can be like attunements, energy work, channeling, or moments when you feel a literal surge of light, clarity, or power move through you. My first meaningful activation came in this form as I began having experiences receiving what I would call downloads or transmissions from various guides, which altered my state of being, changed my reality of what I thought was real, and enhanced my intuitive connection and connection to my guides and beings. And it was just really activating. The frequencies, the energy, the downloads and information I would receive when these would happen were very profound. And I don't think everybody has experiences like that. I don't know why I had them, but I did. But these energetic activations can even be really subtle or happen in a space that you don't even fully feel it, but you know something is shifted within your energy body. You're sensing that. The next one is emotional activations. These often come through big emotional experiences such as grief, bliss, heartbreak, joy, pain. Emotions can be gateways that usher in activations because emotions are felt so profoundly and they affect your entire body and energetic system. When you have an emotional response, your hormones change, your body and physiology shifts, your energetic body and frequency shifts. So it ripples out. And so these emotions that can, even if it's very subtle, can feel quite profound and shift something within you. I often see there's a lot of emotional activation happening when there is a pivot point or a change needing to be had. So an example is when I was really struggling in my first postpartum period, going back to work and working full time, I would wake up and just feel dread. And I would go to work and just feel so sad to not be with my baby, that this was my reality. And that energy and emotion is what pushed me to get uncomfortable, to make a choice when I had really no plan thereafter, that decision to step away, to take the step to do so. And I don't think I would have had the courage to do that without that emotional activation happening within my system because it was overwhelming and consistently there. The next is a physical activation. This can come in the form of illness, injury, death, or birth experiences. Those big events that shift your body and your life and how you operate. And these ones really demand you grow in new ways. And with these physical activations, I often find there are aspects of all the other types woven within them. For me personally, some of my biggest activations came in this form, from health struggles that motivated me to really look at my shadow self and change my habits and improve my life, to the death of my father and what that opened within me and the courage, and this podcast was birthed from it. And then the profound journey of every pregnancy, birth, and stepping into that new motherhood period. All of that came from a very physical state and shift of being and rawness. And they're so profound. With each of those experiences was that market turning point for me to change my life, to shift how I was operating, to change my belief system and get stronger within myself. And the last one is spiritual activations. These can come in many forms and they're going to be unique to each of you, but some of them can be those profound encounters with the feeling of oneness, of God, of beauty, or the divine that remind you of who you are and why you're here, and that interconnectedness of us all, of that great love. And I've seen these moments happening spontaneously, or they're often triggered by a certain event or experience. So a communion with nature, the holding of your first child, a psychedelic journey. And sometimes these are huge and big, and other times they're very small but meaningful. And the reality that this life, while so temporary, is a part of something much bigger than us. So those are the activations I typically see. I'm sure there are other ways that they might show up for each of you. Life is so dynamic and unique for each of us. But no matter what, they're important to notice and to realize that they're coming for a reason. Sometimes they're unmistakable. They hit like lightning and are so profound. Like you just woke up in a daydream that you're living and you're like, what is this, as that energy settles? Other times they're really subtle, and only later do you realize, something changed in me at that moment. And wow, now I can see what that did for me. No matter what form they take, something important to remember is that an activation is not just a moment of inspiration or a catalyst. It's a bridge for you. It carries you from the space you're in, oftentimes a void, into new possibility. And sometimes from where you are into the void and through it. So it's a spectrum, but I see that these activations change you, shape you, spark something. And when you're in that void season, usually you're going to have something come forward to be looked at and to help you shift. And with every activation brings the need for integration. So sometimes these insights arrive all at once, but often they unfold in layers in time, revealing themselves as you're ready. This is why I see patience and presence mattering, not just while you're in the void, but also as you settle in to uncovering the full meaning of that activation. It's going to take some time to land and for you to settle into. So I really see that the void and the activations are not separate. They can happen at separate times, but they are often partners. The void provides the container, the unraveling, the stripping down, and that pressure, while activations provide the spark. It's the bridge, the ignition, and the turning point that carries you into what's next. You can even be in the void and receiving activations at the same time. The void may still feel constricting, but activations are already pressing light into that space, preparing you for that emergence. And this is why the void is never wasted time. No matter what, whether or not you have an activation, but if you're here listening, there's absolutely some type of activation happening or that is going to happen. It's a space of sacred preparation for you, a space to learn, to grow, to be held and seen as you move through this process. So if you're moving through the void or you're receiving an activation, how can you help yourself through it? Here are a few practices that I always lean to when I'm in this space and that I'm currently leaning into being in this space. The first one that always helps me is when I take a moment to respect the timing. While this can be really hard and I can feel so tired and over and ready for the other side, I am reminded that the void has its own rhythm and reason. So you can trust that if you're still here, it's for a reason, that we're still in this experience for a reason. There's more to come. And that helps me stay present and gentle. We don't want to force ourselves to just figure it out or to push ourselves out or take quick, drastic measures to move. It's more really about, can you be with what is? You are challenged in this time for a reason. And so how do you come back to the present moment and give yourself some grace? Another one is to remain curious. If I'm really struggling with something or getting hyper attentive on it, I start to pull out and go, how can I shift my focus into curiosity? So sometimes that means I'm asking, what am I noticing right now? What themes are wanting to come forward for me to look at? Am I missing something? What can I let go of? What do I need more of? It's just about getting curious in any manner. Often for me, it's about my well-being because I'm someone who wants to work, get everything done, and then I burn out and I'm exhausted. So for me, it's like, what is there here that wants to help me? Where can I reframe my mindset to be in the power seat of balance and respect of my bandwidth and what I can give, and then choosing from that point? Another one I feel like I've been leaning into a lot and seeing is creating a roadmap. It can be quite informal, but there's a need to focus on what's in your control, what your intentions are, what you're really calling forward or needing to let go of, and claiming it, stating it, and writing it out. because when you're in this void, you're reorienting. And so it can help to set a roadmap to ground you into your time and space and remind yourself of, I'm going to leave room to let the universe co-create and bring opportunity, but I'm also going to settle in on what I need, what my intentions are, and where I'm setting my sights so that I can be open to receiving the divine direction, but I am also really clear on I'm moving. I have a plan to some degree. That at least really helps me. The next is to use your intuition and lean into higher guidance. Be open, journal, pray, do some energy work, automatic writing, however this wants to come forward. Lean into your trust system. It's there for you. It's going to help anchor you, give you guidance. If you're struggling in this void or through an activation, always come back to yourself or ask for higher guidance and support. The next one, I could say forever, but we often as women do not always prioritize it. It's to care for you. So whatever that looks like, whatever you need in whatever form that calls to you, rest, nourish, move, release, cry, laugh, feel all those aspects. Bring in a variety of things to let your body consistently flow, feel held, have the nourishment it needs to be in this void and get into the next space. Your body is really the anchor for everything else. And so check in. Are you taking care of it? And how is your emotional body feeling as well? Do things need to come forward, to be let go, to be seen? Just notice the state of your being. And the last one is to practice integration. Give space for insights to arise and settle. Allow yourself the time to integrate what is coming up, what you're moving through. I think that's often why the void can last so long or feel so long, is because it needs time to settle, to present to you what you need, and then let yourself move through it in a manner that is digestible and integratable, because the last thing your soul and the divine is really wanting is to rush you through this system and say, oh, here's the downloads, here's the clearing, here's what you need to let go, here's where you're going, okay, you're off. It doesn't work for most of us in this day-to-day reality that we live in a very fast-paced society with so much going on. So trust the timing, and that understanding comes in waves. It's not all at once. So those are some practices and aspects that I really lean into as I'm navigating the void that I have found to help me feel better as I move through this space. Wherever you are today, whether you're fully in the void, you're sensing sparks of activation, or stepping across the bridge out of it, know that you are right on time. The void is not the absence of progress. It's really the womb of transformation. I mean, what a beautiful image if you think about that. Activations are not random events either. They are catalysts and guiding lights that help propel you forward. They can absolutely be challenging and unravel you. However, they are here ultimately to help you. So breathe. Trust the unfolding if you're in the midst of it, and honor both the stillness and the spark. You're not being punished, you're being prepared, and you're not behind, you are right on track. Truly, this is your becoming, and you are already in motion. So thank you so much for being here, for listening, and for trusting the unknown. You are being activated into the next version, and you're not alone through it. And if you enjoyed this episode and you aren't already, please make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. And also share this with one friend who you feel might be stuck in this void, or you've heard them describe being in the space or struggling with it. My hope and intention is always with these episodes and these conversations is that this helps you learn something or supports you in some manner. Thank you so much for listening, and until next time, be gentle with yourself. Thank you for joining me on Intuition Unlocked. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a moment of insight, guidance, or intuitive inspiration. To dive deeper into our community and get access to exclusive content, head to my website at www.olivia-ashley.com and subscribe to my newsletter. You can also connect with me on Instagram at wildlyolivia for daily inspiration and updates. Remember, your intuition is your superpower. Trust it, nurture it, and let it guide you. Until next time, I'm Olivia Ashley, and I can't wait to connect with you again.